Jalen Hurts only threw for 131 yards, but did have 2 touchdown passes in his first game since a late-season concussion. Dallas Goedert threw those 3 stiff arms on a TD catch, and the Eagles rode their NFL-best defense to a 20-10 wild-card playoff win Sunday night. Jeff Saturday, you are up first. Tell me this. Are you more or less confident in the Eagles' Super Bowl chances now?
Oh, more confident. Okay. This team, I think people are forgetting how good this team really is. And the Packers, although it didn't look like a beatdown of epic proportion, they beat that team up pretty well. This game wasn't nearly as close as people act like it was. Their offensive line is dominant. Saquon is top shelf in the running back department. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, got all the players they have. And then you flip it over and talk about a top 3 defense in the league. Everything about them should excite you. When you think about the way they played that game against Green Bay, they're going to take that same game plan and move it to what's going to happen and try to play that way against the Rams. Everybody was all bent out of shape about Jalen Hurts and what he looked like, all this. What do you want to be high risk, less reward? That's not what Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore want to do. They want to play exactly that style of game. Make it ugly, make it physical, make it about our best player on offense, which is Saquon Barkley. Let him do the damage late in games. It matters. I am more confident in how good this Eagles team is. I think everybody should be on alert. It's a very, very good football team. Shannon?
I don't know if I'm more or less Saturday, but I think the game plan that the Rams had against the Vikings, I don't know if that works because you have a mobile quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Now, you pressure him, he's going to jump out the window and take off on you. Yeah. But also, they have a more vaunted running game than what Minnesota has. And so now that's the one way to neutralize a pass rush is your ability to run the football to give them something else to think about other than trying to attack my quarterback. Defensively, they can generate pressure. They got a good back end. I like the front 4. Now, Nakobe Dean going out, let's see how that, because he was one of their better players. Now, Zach Braun is an all-pro linebacker, had an outstanding season. I don't know if I'm more or less. I'm probably still right where I am, but I do know this. If I'm the Rams, I'm going to take away Saquon, and I'm going to make Jalen Hurts because I like what I saw from my standpoint of him only throwing the ball for 113 yards. I'm going to see Saquon Barkley is not going to run this team to a victory if I'm Chris Shula. That is not going to happen. Jalen Hurts is going to have to throw the ball, and I'm going to make him throw it from the pocket because I'm not going to have my ends. I'm not going to run past him. Once I get even, I got to level off because I don't want him to go one way or another. I'm going to keep his butt in the pocket. But this is a very good football team, Saturday. I will concede that. This is a very, very good football team that's dominated up front, offensive and defensive line. And when you dominate up front, there's a good chance you can go far.
Jeff Saturday, I'm somewhat disappointed in your take. I'm not saying I'm
ready
serious
for this.
Here. I'm not saying that the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to win this game. But to answer the question directly about being more or less confident, well, I'm less confident for a couple of reasons. One would be the Rams' ability to get to the quarterback. Let's throw that out because we don't anticipate that Saquon Barkley is going to rush for 255 yards again. I know we're not doing that, or 302 scrimmage yards. We don't anticipate that's going to happen. But here's the biggest thing that I'm disappointed about. Here's the biggest thing I'm disappointed about, Jeff Saturday. Have we been paying attention to what's going on with the Eagles passing game? Haven't we just seen A.J. Brown on the bench with a book, reading books during the game? You understand what I'm saying? That's now number 1 on Amazon, I think. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, ain't that what we're saying? Have we not speculated about what's missing from the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm simply saying if you're the Los Angeles Rams who started off 1-4 and have been 10-3 since, you're going up against a Los Angeles Rams team that can get to the quarterback. You're going up against the Los Angeles Rams teams with an experienced Super Bowl champion quarterback in Matthew Stafford, a stud like Puka Nacua. You got a guy like Sean McVay, who's 39 years old and have coached the team to 2 Super Bowls, and has won a championship. I'm just looking at this, and I find this to be a very, very dangerous game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Are they better? For all the reasons you articulated, Jeff, sure, no problem. But seeing what I've seen in terms of question marks in their passing game, Jalen Hurts' accuracy, his ability to read through progressions quickly enough to, find his open receivers, A.J. Brown not feeling like he's not getting enough action, etc. If those things rear its head against a Los Angeles Rams team with nothing to lose, they're not going to be the favorite. They're on the road. Everybody anticipates that they're probably going to lose this game. And they've got championship, they've got a championship veneer to them. I mean, you got your coach, you got Matthew Stafford. I can't say I'm more confident in the Eagles. I'm definitely less confident than I was a week ago.
Okay, so let me ask you this. They played week 12, right? They played week 12. Saquon Barkley had 255 and 300. We're saying he's not going to get that again. The first question I would ask you is why? Because he's only rushed for 2,000 yards. He might not get 255. He ain't getting blanked. They have a dominant offensive line. Jalen Hurts threw for $179. A.J. Brown had over 100 yards. Nakua on the other side had a big day. Cooper Kupp had a big day. Matthew Stafford had a big day. And they still won 37 to whatever. So as you're telling me I'm going to be less confident, I'm going to tell you this. Trenches matter. The way that the Eagles play, the Nakobe Dean injury is massive. I agree with that. That to me gives me pause on, you taking advantage of the middle part of the field. However, they don't put themselves, Vic Fangio doesn't put them in a situation where they give up a bunch of plays. They want to play a shell, make Matthew Stafford check it down, make them earn it, make receivers do yards after catch, all of those things, slow those things down. I'm letting you know exactly how they played the pass game is what the Eagles want it to look like. They don't want it to be a high-flying shootout game. And, oh, by the way, the Minnesota Vikings didn't have a run game. Everybody knew Darnold was going to have to beat the Rams. You ain't going lining up against the Eagles thinking that Jalen Hurts is going to be the one to beat you. He already beat you with 170 yards. You're going to have to figure a way to shut down Barkley first, which if everybody hasn't had that plan the whole season, I don't know what defensive coordinator would start it any other way. But even with that, you couldn't stop it. You better figure that part out. I agree with you. The only chance the Rams have, in my opinion, is stopping Barkley and then making it a field day on Jalen Hurts. But Shannon even brought it up. The problem with Jalen is even if he can't beat with an arm, he might pull it down and tote it for 25. So it's a different game plan all the way around. And the way that Jalen Hurts is playing, I understand he's not lighting up the scoreboard. He's playing efficient football that wins in playoff games. I'm just letting you know that's why I'm more confident.
Well, yeah, Minnesota doesn't have the running game. Aaron Jones ran for around 1,100 yards. It's a good running game, but it's not the Philadelphia Eagles, and they don't nearly have the offensive line where you got Lane Johnson and Dixon and Dickerson, all those guys in Mailata, and even the center was outstanding this year. They lose Kelsey, who joined us, and now they get another all-pro, Pro Bowl type caliber player at the center position. But here's the thing that's concerning is that I don't know how you felt about this Saturday. I like playing a team that I had lost to earlier because there's a good chance they're not going to change much. Why would we change? We won. We won 37-20. Saquon went for 300 yards from scrimmage. I like that because we're going to change everything, and you don't know what we're going to do. We have a pretty good idea of what you're going to do because you had success doing that. And when you have success doing something one way, more times than not, Saturday, you know this. You stick with what you got, what got you there. And so if I'm the Rams, look, I'm stopping Saquon. Now, it's a lot easier said than done.
Absolutely.
But if Jalen Hurts throws the ball for 300 yards and he spreads it around and, AJ gets his 100 and Devontae gets 95 and Goddard gets what he gets, I'm going to tip my hat. But I refuse to let Saquon Barkley run them to a victory.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's a great point, Shannon. I got to get a commercial break, guys. Phillies favored by 6 against LA. More on that later. Also, this coming up. Find out why someone.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các bạn. Mình lại quay lại đây. Video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tô màu những sản phẩm này đây. Các bạn hãy xem thật kỹ nha. Đây là những sản phẩm mình chưa tô. Những sản phẩm mình tô màu xong thì chắc chắn nó sẽ rất là đẹp. Tại vì mình có hộp sam màu này hộp sam màu này của mình nó giúp mình tô màu rất là đẹp luôn. Và bây giờ các bạn cùng theo dõi mình tô màu những sản phẩm nha. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn.
Bây giờ mình chi tiết tô màu nhé các bạn.